Curiosity is the bridge between fear and possibility. It's how you move from resignation to reinvention. And it might just be the most radical act of self-care left. At SoundEmbrace, we dive into Sound Matters, where science meets soul and curiosity leads the way. Each episode dives into the real, research-backed, and deeply human ways sound shapes healing, leadership, and the art of living a life you love waking up to every day. Because sound isn't just something you hear, it's something you become. I'm Danielle Hall, and today we're exploring something that doesn't get enough credit in the wellness world, and that is curiosity. Not curiosity as entertainment, not curiosity as trivia, but curiosity as medicine. Because when you start to get curious, like truly curious about your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and your patterns, something remarkable happens. Your nervous system starts to reorganize. Your brain begins to rewire. Curiosity is the bridge between fear and possibility. It's how you move from resignation to reinvention. And it might just be the most radical act of self-care left. As we begin, I invite you to take a deep, slow breath, breathing in and let that go. Noticing now in your body where you might feel tight. Maybe the jaw, your shoulders, maybe your chest, your neck. And now ask yourself this simple question. Where have I stopped being curious? Maybe this is about your health, your relationships in general, right? The version of you that's waiting beyond the habits you've outgrown. You don't have to answer this question right now. Just keep that question nearby as we journey into the science and the sound of curiosity. Let's step into the lab. In neuroscience, curiosity isn't just a personality trait. It's a motivational state with measurable effects on the brain. In a landmark 2014 study from the University of California, Davis, researchers Gruber, Gelman, and Ranganath found that when people were curious, their brains activate that same network responsible for reward, learning, and emotional regulation. This activation releases dopamine and improves both attention and memory consolidation in the hippocampus. What does that even mean for us? When we're curious, the brain literally lights up in the regions associated with motivation, focus, and joy. It becomes easier to learn, adapt, and to create. Curiosity biologically primes us for transformation. But there is a catch. The brain only opens to curiosity when it feels safe enough to explore. Psychologist Amy Edmondson calls this psychological safety, the sense that we can experiment, that we can ask questions or even fail without punishment. On a physiological level, the same principle applies through the vagus nerve, the communication superhighway between the brain and the body. When we're threatened, the vagus nerve tightens and our system moves into defense, that fight or flight or freeze state. But when we feel safe, that same nerve signals the parasympathetic system to relax, to breathe, and to listen. Neuroscientist Stephen Porges explains in polyvagal theory that this is the biological foundation of curiosity, play, and social connection. In short, safety precedes curiosity, and curiosity expands safety. This is neuroplasticity in motion. The nervous system learning that it can survive, not knowing. Curiosity engages a different kind of dopamine than instant gratification. Psychologist Jake Penkeep described it as the seeking system, a primal neural network that motivates exploration and purpose. Unlike the dopamine burst from social media or a novelty addiction, this type of dopamine sustains attention and meaning. It's the difference between chasing stimulation and following wonder. When you get curious, you're not escaping discomfort. You're metabolizing it into learning. Here's where sound comes in. Both curiosity and sound work through resonance, the synchronization of oscillations. When you hear a tone, the neurons in your auditory cortex begin to entrain. They fire in rhythm with the sound wave. This rhythmic alignment increases coherence between the brain and the heart, reducing anxiety and improving focus. The same thing happens when you become curious. Your mind and body synchronize around the unknown. The question itself becomes a frequency, calling every part of you into presence. Curiosity also transforms emotional processing. In 2021, researchers Kashtan and Sixma found that trait curiosity predicted higher emotional flexibility and lower stress reactivity, even during conflict. In other words, curiosity helps you stay open when life gets hard. Instead of collapsing into avoidance, you lean in towards experience. And you start to ask, what is this emotion trying to show me? Rather than how fast can I get away from it? That type of judgment to inquiry rewires the nervous system and turns fear into fascination. Let's go into some story time. I once worked with a woman who came to one of my sound bath sessions because her therapist really urged her to come. And she told me that she doesn't believe in energy work, that she's just desperate to stop feeling so anxious all the time. I said, you don't need to believe in it, but I invite you to bring your curiosity. And so she laid down, her arms were crossed, very skeptical, but she definitely had that wall up. And as I began introducing the sound to the nervous system, she was keeping her eyes open. And then finally she allowed herself to close her eyes, and you could see her just take this deep breath. Like she knew she had to try something. For something to change, something has got to change. Now, in the session, I can see that her body was relaxing and that she took in a deeper inhale and a longer exhale. At the end of the session, at the very end, I usually hold a sharing opportunity where people can ask me questions or share their experience. She shared that she didn't know what that was, meaning the sound bath, but she felt relief. That's what curiosity can do. It can soften the resistance to something new. It can soften the resistance just enough for new energy, new perspective to move through you. Now, curiosity doesn't mean that you have to take on the new perspective. All curiosity means is that you are open to hearing other points of view. She came back the next month because she wanted to understand more deeply. And month after month, her curiosity became her healing practice. The body doesn't need belief to change. It needs permission to listen. Let's get into the practice if it is safe for you. Gently close your eyes or cast your gaze down to the floor, finding a comfortable position. And inviting in one deep breath in through your nose, breathing in. And exhaling slowly through your mouth. And asking yourself now, what is one part of my life I've stopped being curious about? What is one part of my life I've stopped being curious about? Maybe it's your health, or how you could be more joyful or creative. Maybe there's a silence you keep avoiding. Allowing yourself now to allow the sounds to move through you without judgment, without trying to figure anything out. but allowing yourself to ask the question and see what arrives. Slowly bring your awareness back to your body and inviting in a deep breath in through your nose for 5 counts, breathing in and exhale. Again, in through your nose. One last time. When you're ready, you may slowly open your eyes. Transformation doesn't begin with answers. It begins with questions. Every major change in your life, every healing, every awakening, every moment of real growth started with curiosity. What if I don't have to live this way? What if my body already knows how to heal? The moment you ask those questions, you've already begun the process, because curiosity is not passive. It's an active state of psychological expansion. The unknown stops being dangerous and starts being sacred. And that's when transformation becomes inevitable. Thank you for being here today. If today's episode resonated with you, I invite you to become a part of the SoundEmbrace family. Come on in. We are a community of Sound Embracers choosing curiosity over complacency and supporting one another in living lives we love waking up to every day. Explore the free SoundEmbrace membership for sound baths and monthly stillness challenges. Step into the Alignment Lab to dive deeper into focused journeys through sound, mindset, and nervous system regulation. And for those called to lead in this work, join the SoundEmbrace Sound Healing Certification Program, the difference between a performer of sound and a facilitator of transformation. Visit soundembrace.com to live a life you love waking up to every day. Stay curious, listen deeply, and live a life you love.